Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the 9 Frames podcast. This is episode 19. It is now September 4th, 2023. Happy Labor Day, everybody.
Happy Labor Day.
I am Bill Whalen.
And I'm Mike Whalen.
You can catch us on YouTube at 9 Frames Podcast. We are on Spotify at 9 Frames. We're on X at 9 Frames Pod. And we are on PlayerGM.com.
Be sure to like and subscribe.
Definitely. And hit that bell icon. Get notified when we go live.
Absolutely.
This was a huge weekend of baseball, Mike.
Yeah.
I mean, really fun watch.
I mean, I was actually just kind of taken aback by it this morning. I looked at the schedule and, there's only, 8 series left, dude. We're almost done.
And a lot of huge series coming up to start this week, too, after a bunch of big ones just ended. I know how we're going to kick off this episode. It's the same way we kicked off last episode. We're giving you the AL West recap.
It just seems like it's just the most notable to talk about. It's
everybody's
just a
so
dogfight.
tight. The M's lose 2 out of 3 to the Mets.
I cannot believe that.
The Mets are out of the basement. They're no longer the last place team in the NL East. Very nice. I wanted to give a little credit. We're kind of going to go away from the AL West here because, just as a Mets fan, Pete Alonso hits 2 home runs yesterday, his 40th and 41st. He has 4 RBIs for another 100 RBI season. Only Ralph Kiner, Eddie Matthews, Albert Pujols, Ryan Howard, and Pete Alonso have had at least 3 seasons of 40 homers in their first 5 years. And this is a guy who got shorted by COVID.
And that's very true.
Think about it. He would be making history.
And I was going to say this year, he's still in the running for the home run king, and he got missed 2 weeks because he got hit in the hand.
Yeah, for real. And it was an injury that he probably should have missed more time for.
Yeah,
he's such a valuable player, man, at a position that is kind of easy to fill, but not at his level.
It's easy to fill, yeah, exactly.
Not at his level.
The elite ones are far and few between. It seems like this.
There's 5 guys like him, literally. Just pay the man,
Yeah, they need to take care of Pete.
Now we're going to bring it on over back to the AL West. Seattle does still lead by 1 game after dropping 2 out of 3, which is crazy. And you want to know why? It's because Texas also dropped 2 out of 3 to Minnesota. I had an eye on that series. Did you see the end of it?
No, what happened?
They just escaped by a walk-off home run last night.
Wow.
Adolis Garcia pimps one. The way that he hit it was the most dumbfounding thing in my life. It was crazy. Adolis Garcia hits a home run. It's a clear home run. He drops his shoulders as if he is relieved of weight. Because of how much this team is struggling.
Yeah.
He puts his shoulders down, and then he grabs the Rangers on his chest and starts screaming and running.
That's awesome.
Love it, dude. It was an electric factory.
Yeah, dude, it looks like the Astros struggled this weekend, too.
No, big time. That's what I was going to get on next. They got swept out of their own building by the Yankees.
That's not something I thought would happen.
Not at all, dude. I actually think when we talked about this on Friday's episode, we were talking about it was going to be probably the other way around.
Yeah, I saw Verlander got shelled.
Dude, that's absolutely nuts. And not for nothing, Houston faces Texas.
Oh my God.
In Texas for 3 games now.
I see that.
And then Seattle goes to Cincinnati for 3 games.
Another team that's in the thick of the race.
Playoff teams from different leagues playing a lot this year because of the new schedule. And a lot of people were saying, I guess some people, have complaints about the new 3 wildcard team layout.
Why?
I was going to say, man, look how many more teams are in it that would be 3 games out. Or they'd be 3.5 games out, 4 games out, and instead they're right there.
Look at the NL wildcard.
Yeah,
it would be 3 back, but instead we have a 4-team tie for that last spot.
Yeah,
what are people talking about?
We're definitely going to talk about that NL wildcard race. It's insane. We did talk about how Houston got swept out of the building by the Yankees. I just wanted to kind of comment on this. I don't know if you saw it. Really funny clip by the new kid, Jason Dominguez, for the Yankees. He, on ESPN, Sunday Night Baseball, they asked him who his favorite players growing up were.
I did see this.
His first response is, and he just sits there for a while silently, and he goes, I didn't have any favorite players growing up. And the guy goes, no favorite players? And then it's 5 more seconds of silence, and he goes, I did like David Ortiz and Manny Ramirez. And the guy goes, oh no, Red Sox.
That's why he didn't want to say it.
It was pretty funny, man. I guess he was a Red Sox fan. Not anymore. He's in the pinstripes.
Maybe he wasn't a Red Sox fan. It's just those were the 2 of the best Hispanic hitters.
Yeah, Big Papi and Manny Ramirez inspiring the kid. And, man, he's good, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to move it on over to the Central because we did talk about how Minnesota took 2 out of 3 from Texas. Cleveland takes 2 out of 3 from Tampa Bay.
See, I told you to keep an eye on that now that they made those additions.
Yeah, they win the first 2 games of that series by 1 run each. One of them was an extra inning, and they still make up no ground. They were actually a walk-off hit away from losing a game.
Yeah, like I just said, man, we're running out of time here, so they got 5 games to make up in the next 7 or 8 series.
I was going to say tip of the cap to Minnesota, though, because Cleveland playing that well this weekend and Minnesota didn't lose a game. They almost gained a game.
It's because Minnesota's just been taking care of Texas.
Yeah, for real, for 2 weeks.
Which is crazy.
They are 5 games back, like you said, and they have, guess what? A huge 3-game set. Minnesota visiting Cleveland starts tonight.
We're starting the week off hot now.
Mm-hmm.
It's carrying over.
One last thing I wanted to talk about in the intro here. The pitch clock rules implemented this season will be the same for the postseason this year. I just kind of wanted your thoughts on that.
I might be in the minority here, but I like it. I mean, the pitch clock has done really no harm to the game. It's sped it up. Everyone's gotten used to it. They're really... How often do you see a violation anymore?
Not too often,
Everyone's gotten used to it, so why change it? Just keep the game going.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I'm probably just indifferent about it at this point, because if that's how the game is going to be, I mean, it might as well be that throughout.
Don't you think it would be kind of weird, though, to, like, switch back to no pitch clock and then guys start dragging ass in the postseason?
Well, I don't know. Do you think it's weird to take away the ghost runner in postseason?
No, because, I mean, those games... pitch clock isn't altering the game like putting somebody on second base.
No, but it definitely changes the way it's being played.
It's the way they've played all year.
Right,
and
it's definitely true. I agree with that. I think that's why I'm indifferent. I really hope it's not, like, impactful. Like, if there's violations that lead to actual runs and stuff. Like, I
just
really
don't
hope
think it will happen like that, man. It just seems like everyone's comfortable with it now. It was a learning curve in the beginning of the season, but, like, no one really brings it up at all anymore.
Yeah. All right, so, I mean, getting into it, keep your eye on the AL Central and the AL West. A couple fun divisions coming up this week. We're going to get into the series that we set you up on Friday.
Yeah, a couple huge series. Kicking it off in the NL, we labeled this as probably the biggest series of the weekend, and maybe, like, one of the bigger series of the season.
I said so, yeah. It could be the championship series right here in the NL.
Yeah, it was the NLCS preview, potentially, between the Dodgers and the Braves in Chavez Ravine. We already went over the first game on Thursday of the 4-game, and it was the 8-7 Atlanta win. Let's get into the rest of the series.
Yeah, between the 2 best teams in the MLB, I would say.
Yeah, Friday. It was more of the same, honestly, from what we saw on Thursday. The Braves just...
Atlanta ended up winning this matchup between Max Fried and Julio Urias. I mean, it was a 6-3 win for Atlanta in that one. So, I mean, pretty comfortable if you look at how it played out. I will explain. Atlanta bats just did what they do in this one. Travis d'Arnaud hits a solo in the second.
Scoring earlier and
his
often.
10th homer. Acuna gets a solo in the third for his 31st.
Yep.
Ozuna hits a solo in the fourth for his 32nd.
They just hit so many home runs, man.
Right, yep. And, more than any other team, like, maybe ever. Man.
They already set their franchise record with a month left.
Most definitely,
That's crazy.
There's a double by Alex Riley and a single by Ozuna in the fifth, and they go up 5-0.
See, like, going down 5-0 to the Braves, it's very difficult to come back.
Right, so the box score looks a little more generous when you look at 6-3, but, they're down 5-0 here, and they end up down 6-0 in the 8th inning. The Dodgers have a 3 spot. It really isn't nearly enough.
Yeah, they showed a little bit of life late, but it was just too late.
Yeah, Max Fried was awesome in this game again. 7 innings pitched, 3 hits. He had 10 Ks, didn't give up a run. He's now 6-1 with a 2.52.
Very nice left-handed starter, man.
Beautiful,
He
man.
really is a good arm.
And left-handed starter that is not having the same trajectory right now. Julio Urias had 5 earned runs given up in that game. He's now sitting at a 4.60.
Fried reminds me a lot of Cole Hamels.
Yeah,
in a sense.
I could see that. Yeah, I could definitely see that. Yeah, Saturday was... We get back to the next game now that we're up 2-0 in Atlanta.
Yeah. In LA, too. They're just coming on the road and just beating them down, kind of.
Atlanta's feeling pretty comfortable, and this was a full pitching duel. This game goes 10 innings, tied 1-1. Even though Emmett Sheehan, the young pitcher, he only went 4 innings for the Dodgers in this one.
Was that because of pitch count, or was it just because that's where they have
I think it was more of just a smart pull.
I think that's what they kind of do with the young guys. They kind of give them a 4 or 5 innings and then they go to the bullpen because they know they have such a dominating bullpen.
I mean, this shows how dominating these teams are as bullpens.
Absolutely.
6 pitchers in this game for the Dodgers and 5 for Atlanta, but nobody giving up runs, you know?
Yeah, they each just get a run in the 3rd inning, one each, and then nothing until the 10th.
And that goes off of a Ronald Acuna, another solo homer. His fingerprints are all over the series. That's his 32nd of the year.
And the Braves season, man.
And Will Smith scores the only run for the Dodgers in that game on a double play in regular innings. That run scored on a double play.
That's not even an RBI.
No, it was not. The worst run you can score as a baseball player. Yeah. I think anyone who has played knows that. Does not feel good going back to the dugout.
Yeah, like you get the run in, but it's like
the boys are happy, but you're not.
You could have done so much more. It's just, you just feel like you didn't do enough.
Atlanta gets the ghost runner on and another one. So 2 men on, and Orlando Arcia hits a 3-run bomb for the 17th of the year.
The team, see, like what I mean, like they hit so many home runs. Even Orlando Arcia has, what did you just say?
17. He's
17
about
home
to
runs.
get to the 20 mark. Orlando
He's
Arcia.
never done that.
No way.
That's absurd.
The game ends 4-2 in the 10th. This is the 90th win of the year for the Braves.
I was gonna say, yeah, the first to 90.
Game 4, man. This is a huge one. You do not want to get 4 games swept in your own building. I mean, you're already feeling pretty bad. LAD does finally get one. Those Dodgers get a game.
I mean, they won't be playing each other in the NLDS, but that would have been a sweep in the NLDS.
Yeah,
they're gone.
That's true. Yeah, the Dodgers get this one 3-1 in the last game to etch one out for them. This was Charlie Morton versus Bobby Miller. Shout out Bobby Miller, man.
I was just about to say, man, Bobby Miller looked great again last night.
He goes 7 innings for 1 run against him. That's the longest start of his career so far.
Against the best team in baseball?
Mm-hmm. And he is 9-3 now on the year.
Show what you got, Bobby.
For real. Morton ends up going 4 innings pitched in that one. He gives up 6 hits, 3 walks, and 2 earned runs. And that was really enough to win the game for the Dodgers.
Yeah, because of Bobby Miller. I mean, he just shoved.
RBIs come in that game for Miggy Rowe and Betts. Outman gets another one. The 99th of the year for Betts, his RBI. So he's 1 away from 100 as well.
That's just insane, man.
And speaking of numbers, in this game, Matt Olson hits the MLB leading 44th home run.
Is that the lead or is it tied with Shohei? I think they're tied.
It might be tied, yeah. But either way.
NL lead for
they
sure.
Are the lead,
I mean,
yeah.
but Pete's coming.
He's
only 3 back.
He is right there. That is the only run for Atlanta in that game. So
it had been a while since he homered, right? That breaks like a 20-game drought or something like that.
Which is crazy because if he kept pace, man.
He could have had like a 60-piece this year, but...
This is a tough series for the Dodgers. I genuinely believe that. I think this is something that shakes your confidence as a team.
Oh, yeah, this is a wake-up call for sure. I mean, it's like...
building.
This is the only team that you could have questioned was probably like better than maybe Baltimore and Tampa Bay, but I still think the Dodgers are better.
Yeah. Atlanta looked like the better team throughout this entire series. I was just going to genuinely ask you, should the Dodgers be worried?
I would be a little worried after that, the way that... I mean, yes and no, because that 10-inning game could have went either way. It takes one swing from a Dodger bat and they win. I mean...
They didn't get it.
They didn't get it.
Will they? I don't know.
I don't know if they will panic or worry at all, because, I mean, it is what it is. They just... It's good in a sense that they got to see them like a month before the playoffs would start, because now they have more of a scouting report on them. Yeah, the Dodgers won't worry, but no, I also don't think they should.
I was going to say, like, as ball players, as a ball club, they should have a short-term memory. But I do think when they face off, eventually...
It'll be on the mind.
It'll be on the mind.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, prominently on the mind. And I think it might genuinely cost some of the less experienced people.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely could. It won't shake Bobby Miller, we know that.
I guess not, yeah.
He stepped up.
Both of these teams get Monday off, and then they have a little midweek set starting Tuesday. LA goes to Miami for 3 games. That's going to be a big series.
That's really tough for Miami.
Miami's been a rough series, or a rough schedule for a while now. Been getting Houston, they get the Dodgers a couple times.
They're on a nice little 4-game heater.
Yep.
Back in the tied for the last wild card spot.
Most definitely. And St. Louis is going to Atlanta for 3 games, so, I mean, St. Louis is going to have a tough one there. Last place, St. Louis.
It doesn't really matter who the Braves play anymore for the rest of the year. They're probably going to be the 1 seed, and they're going to be the best team in baseball.
Yeah, those teams are as different as they could be right now, though.
Which is not how you saw the Cardinal season going, but
definitely not.
You never want to see it.
So a really fun series to watch between the Braves and the Dodgers here, but the Braves look like the dominant team out of the two. And that's just kind of my takeaway from it.
Yeah,
they're just better.
They're just the better team. Sometimes it's just that simple.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see how that plays out in October. But for now, tips to the Braves.
Yep, absolutely, all Braves.
We're gonna keep this in the National League and recap a series between teams that had the exact same record coming into this. They cannot at the end. It was a 3-game, so somebody's got to win. Who won? This was a fun little series as well, and they cannot be even. Game 1 goes 7-5 Milwaukee Friday.
Yep.
Which is weird. Both starting pitchers were really good. They both get quality starts. Wheeler goes 6 innings pitched in that game. Zach Wheeler, that is, for the Phillies, and he gives up 3 runs. And Freddie Peralta goes 6 innings pitched and 1 earned run.
So Freddie was good again, man.
Yeah, what did he have? 10 Ks again, another double-digit game. Really disappointing game for Philly, and I'll tell you why. They put up a 4 spot in the top of the 8th to go up 5-3. They get a 2-run lead there, and they give up another 4 spot in the bottom of the 8th.
Immediately as soon as they turn it around.
We were watching that game, and yeah, man, this is an ugly one. 3 of those runs score on a really bad error at third base by Alec Bohm.
He just let it go right by him.
It was simply just a backhand pick. His glove wasn't on the ground. It's what they teach you as a kid, and that makes it 7-5. That'll do it for the Phillies in that game. And they really go with their head down.
Yeah, certainly a costly error for Bohm, who, I mean, he in the beginning of the season was looked at as kind of a shaky fielder, but he improved.
Yeah,
and
but
then that is just
there, and that'll probably shake his confidence a little bit. I guess we'll see.
That is the most costly of costly errors.
Game 2, can they bounce back now that Milwaukee has the 1-0 lead? This one is literally also 7-5 Milwaukee, quite literally the same score.
Carbon copy replica.
But this one is for early runs instead of late runs. Nola. God, Nola.
He's just had a rough go this year.
We were just talking about it. I think this 2-game stretch right here really proves what I was saying on Friday's episode, that the ace of this club should be Zach Wheeler.
I think it should be, too. Like, if they started a postseason series, they should probably go with Wheels
That's
first.
exactly what I was saying on Friday. And I think it's going to be like a pretty big statement when they pick one of those 2 guys.
Yeah.
He gives up 7 earned runs. He goes 4 2/3, gives up 8 hits, 3 walks, and 7 earned runs, man.
Yeah, a couple big innings. The crew gets 3 in the second and then 4 in the 5th.
Yeah,
big spots.
Aaron Nola now 12-9 on the year with a 4.55 ERA. Oof. I mean, yikes, folks.
4.55 for the ace of your staff coming into this. I mean, he's had what I said it on Friday, 7 straight opening day starts or something like that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So next year,
just getting shelled this year.
Next year, what do you do? Because I mean, there's no getting that number down for the rest of the year, and Wheeler just continues to stay good.
Real quick, Devin Williams got the win on Friday, and then on Saturday picks up his 32nd save.
As he does, yeah, absolutely.
That guy he's gonna get paid somewhere to be a closer, and he should. I mean, he's just nasty.
Right. Yep. Colin Rea in this game, the starter for Milwaukee, he goes 4 1/3, 2 earned runs and 6 K. They know when to pull him, though.
Yeah.
We were just talking about this with Emmett Sheehan over in that game. They know when to pull their guy, and it pays off.
I mean, that's what managers have to learn now. You got to know when to pull your guy. Like, sometimes, especially somebody like Colin Rea, he missed a couple years with injury. I mean, you got to know when to pull someone like that. You don't want to leave him out there high and dry.
Yeah, this game is 7-2 when the starters leave. Philadelphia tries to fight back from that 7-2 deficit, but their ace has left them in a really tough spot here.
Yeah, they only get a couple back.
Turner hits his 21st home run in the 6th. Castellanos gets a sac fly in the 8th. And we get a rare Kyle Schwarber single in the 9th for an RBI. He now has 39 home runs and 37 singles.
Look at him go. 37 singles.
Absolutely wild. And it's definitely worth noting that home run by Trey Turner, that was making it a 5-game streak where he had 5 games with a home run in a row.
That's insane, dude. It's like he was doing in the World Baseball Classic. Remember that shit?
Trey Turner is the type of player who could really get hot at an instant.
Yeah, I mean, he seems like he's scorching hot at this moment.
So Milwaukee takes the 2-0 lead pretty prominently there. Game 3, though.
Big game for Philly.
And Philly does take it 4-2 in this one. They have learned from their mistakes because Ranger Suarez in this game, he goes 4 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 walks, 5 Ks, 2 earned runs.
No one to pull him.
But they made sure to pull him. He only gave up 2. He gave up both solo home runs in that game for him.
Yeah, and you'll absolutely take that. I mean, if you're going to give up a run, that's probably the best way to give up a run.
Mm-hmm.
Short, sweet, just clear the mind and keep going.
Yeah, there's a good pull here, and it pays off again. I guess that's kind of the story of the weekend, which is funny. That pulling pitchers early is the story of the weekend. That's what wins you the games.
This game actually was it was going in Milwaukee's favor.
Yeah.
Wade Miley was shoving. He had like a no-hitter going into the 6th or 7th?
Right.
6th inning?
Yep, Philadelphia puts up a 3 spot in the 9th inning, and that ends that.
The 7th inning.
7th inning, yeah, excuse me. I don't know why I misread that. Home runs by Alec Boehm and JT Realmuto in that one, and the Philly pen just shuts the door as they do.
Yeah, Kimbrel gets his 22nd save of the year.
Mm-hmm. So a good game at the end there by Philly. The first 2 were just mistake-ridden. I mean, it was just the first game was a third baseman not making a play they need to make, and the second game was an ace not doing his job.
Yeah, and ironically, in the one they win, they do have 2 errors.
Yep, yeah, fair enough. I mean, I guess that's kind of the thing about Philly. We always said coming into last year even.
Yeah, they're not a good defensive ball club.
The defensive, it's struggling.
I mean, now they have Bryce Harper playing first base. It's just, they're all out of whack, but like, they're still winning ball games.
Yeah.
That's what matters.
So Milwaukee takes 2 out of 3 from the Phils. They are now 76 and 60, and the Phillies are 75 and 61. So
Milwaukee leaves up.
Milwaukee is now a game better than Philly. Did this series solidify to you that they are the better team?
No, absolutely not. I think these 2 teams are about as even as we could see.
I was literally going to say, I mean, this, like I was saying on Friday that I thought this might be a Philadelphia sweep, and it easily could have.
Yeah,
It easily could have. All we needed was the third baseman to make his play and our ace to give up 4.
All 3 games were they're all 2-run games.
Yeah, if the ace gives up 4 instead of 7, they win the game. And if your third baseman makes a play he should be making, they win the game. So, I mean, disappointing series for Philly when they really had to make a statement. And if this was an NLDS, they would have been eliminated in 2 games.
You mean the wild card series? Yeah.
Yeah. The wild card series. That's
true.
true.
that would be pretty brutal.
Mm-hmm. It would have ended their season right
and
there.
I mean, dude, that absolutely could happen.
Definitely. I don't think this solidifies either team as better off the bat, but I mean, I guess we'll see if they meet up again in October.
Yeah, I mean, Philly doesn't need the games as bad as other teams do right now. They still sit 5.5 up in the one spot.
Yeah,
for
they are
wild card.
the first wild card spot, and Milwaukee is 3.5 games up on Chicago in the NL Central.
Yeah, that's been like the number 3. It's staying like 3 to 5 games for them.
Right. Yeah, both of these teams start 3 games set Monday. Philadelphia will be visiting San Diego, and Milwaukee will be visiting Pittsburgh, who they just have to win games against.
Semi-hot San Diego on a 3-game win streak after this weekend.
That'll be a bit tougher of a series for sure than Milwaukee's got coming up.
Are they climbing back? Only 5.5 out now.
Could be.
Those Padres.
Could be. So, I mean, we're going to keep an eye on those series as the week starts. Really fun one on the weekend, but the Phillies let the boys down.
Yeah, definitely. A couple players really just didn't step up.
Yeah, Alec Boehm and Aaron Nola. I mean, just got to be better next time a big series comes around.
Yeah, absolutely. And to wrap up the NL, we're going to go to a humongous series in Cincinnati. They host the Cubbies for a massive 4-game, like we were saying, with the doubleheader being on Friday and then single games on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, second place Cubbies against the third place Reds. Who steps up?
The Reds, man, they're just still right there. I can't believe it. I thought that maybe they'd fall out of it a little bit, but they're sticking tough. Friday, like I just said, was the doubleheader. The Cubbies take the first one 6-2. Jordan Wicks was good. He goes 5, only gives up 1 to pick up the W for the Cubbies.
Yeah, I think that's kind of been the story of the Cubs that we've been saying. We even brought it up on Friday, just kind of like young pitchers stepping up when they need to.
Yeah, it was a semi-pitchers duel with Graham Ashcraft until Ashcraft faltered a little bit in the 6th inning, giving up a 2-run homer a 2-run single, to Cody Bellinger, who just continues to pile on RBIs.
One of the hottest hitters in baseball. I mean, it's basically all of the MVP candidates, and Cody Bellinger are the hottest hitters in baseball right now.
Yeah, so that makes it 3-1 at that time. And then homers by Seiya Suzuki, his 14th, and Ian Happ, his 17th.
Yeah, the Happer, man.
They pad the lead, and it's 6-1 all of a sudden, and that's basically all she wrote because it would be 6-2. the Reds would get one back in the bottom of the ninth. But
not a lot of fight. I mean, they tried to show a little bit. So, I mean, props to them for that even. They could have rolled over in a 6-1 game, but they get one over.
They had some traffic on the bases in that ninth to the point where Keegan Thompson had to come in and save the game for the Cubs.
Right.
But no, like, super real threat of them blowing it.
Still 4 runs away there.
Yeah, so the second game then sees another pitcher's duel, man. These two teams, I didn't think the Cubs and Reds would be in pitcher's duels.
Specifically the second game, too. Coming into it, they did not have starters announced, so pretty wild.
It's 2-1 all the way in the bottom of the ninth. The Cubs are up 2-1. And the one guy that we were talking about last week, Nick Martini, he had that 2-homer game. It was his first home run since 2019.
Right.
He hits his third in the bottom of the ninth when he's down to his last 2 strikes.
Gets number 1 and 2 in the same game and gets number 3 here. Absolutely huge.
Just a clutch home run to just tie the game in the bottom of the ninth, and then Noelvi Marte will walk it off. The most recent of call-ups for the young Reds.
Yeah, so the Reds, they're absolutely getting a win that they need after losing the first one of the doubleheader and getting more confident going into the weekend.
Timely hitting from guys you really wouldn't expect in Nick Martini and then Noelvi Marte, who's just a young stud, another one.
Just came up a week ago.
You love to see it if you're a Reds fan, honestly.
Diaz picks up his 7th win as a closer.
That's pretty insane, is
Absolutely.
it not?
Absolutely insane.
He also is like tied for the National League lead in saves.
Yeah, I mean, he's 7-4 with a 2.15. That looks like a starter's line.
Like 35 or 36 saves to go with it. I mean, the guy's just an animal. Those Diaz brothers, man, they're crazy.
Absolutely wild. The third game was also a 2-1 Reds win, and this one, late game heroics again.
The bottom of the ninth again.
This is a walk-off 2 nights in a row. Who walked it off this time? Well, it was 1-0 in the bottom of the ninth. Ellie De La Cruz singled in the new Red, Harrison Bader, to tie the game off Mark Leiter Jr.
Yep.
Newly acquired Hunter Renfroe then beats out a double play to walk it off for Cincinnati, so it's the 2 new boys scoring there.
Yeah, you love to see it. I mean, the guys you just pick up coming through in the late innings after unsung heroes the night before.
Worth mentioning, too, because Hunter Renfroe has been on 6 teams in the last 5 seasons.
That is nuts. For somebody like that, because he's just genuinely a good baseball
Genuinely
player.
talented.
He's got a great arm in the outfield. He hits bombs. I mean, what is he? He's got close to 20, if not over 20 already.
I fully agree with you, man. It's pretty dumbfounding. I mean, it's already dumbfounding that a team would let him walk. And then for him to just, I don't know, he's so good.
Trade deadline acquisition, Sam Moll picks up his first win for the Reds. He's been good for them.
All the new guys coming through for the Reds in a game that they desperately need in that one to take the lead in the series.
Yeah, those runs, by the way, they were off of Mark Leiter Jr.
Yeah, I said that, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, you got the first 3 games, the Reds are up 2-1.
Yeah, and I mean, again, that first game, pretty handedly a Cubs game. The other 2 were battles.
Yeah, and then speaking of a handed game, you got to look at the last game, dude.
Yeah, Sunday, I mean, oh my God, an offensive explosion for both teams, but boy, the Cubs specifically. This is a 15-7 battle. 15 hits,
or 15 runs, 18 hits, no errors for the Cubbies. That's crazy.
Cincinnati ends up getting 7 runs and 11 hits in that game. So, I mean, it's just offense galore, but this one really wasn't competitive at all.
Yeah, they start the scoring early in the first. I mean, it's 1 run right away. Cody Bellinger puts the Cubs up, but the Reds answer with 2, and then the Cubs answer with 2 in the top of the second. Then the Reds answer with 2 in the bottom of the second, and they just kind of went back and forth.
I guess the game could be actually a little bit confusing. At first, I thought it wasn't competitive, but it definitely was. This is late inning meltdown.
Oh yeah, it was pretty competitive until the 8th inning when the Reds would give up 7 runs.
Yeah, a 7 spot by the Cubbies, and I mean, obviously that'll do it. That's as much as the Cubs put up on the day.
Yeah, I mean, the Reds, yeah, that's all, that 1 inning.
Yeah, so I mean...
And then they gave up 3 more in the top of the 9th, so there's really nothing they could do at that point.
No, 15-7, the game ends up not being close, even though it was throughout the whole thing. Pretty wild.
Yeah, the people that gave up a lot, I mean, everybody that came into the game for the Reds kind of gave up runs. Everybody except for Lucas Sims, who pitched a scoreless inning, gave up a run.
Yeah. On Friday's episode, we said that this series was probably going to end up in a split, and that's exactly how it ended up.
Yeah, it was the safe pick because they're just... I mean, again, these teams, they seem very very equal.
Yeah, I mean 6-4 in their last 10 for the Cubbies, 4-6 in their last 10 for Cincinnati. They're playing 500 ball basically. So
the Cubs are going to be hosting San Francisco, and the Reds are going to be hosting those first place Mariners who
like
just
we
had a
said.
tough time.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about them?
Genuinely huge series coming up.
Real quick, actually, before we get into that, I wanted to just make a note. The Reds did win the season tiebreaker over the Cubs, if that comes into effect down the line. And now they're also tied for that last wild card spot with like 4 teams, I think it was.
Yeah, what are they still? They're still 3 games back, 3.5, or how many back?
They're the Reds are
Of
like,
the Cubs.
they're
3.5.
3 behind them.
Yeah.
They're 3 behind the Cubs,
Right,
and then
okay.
but they're also tied for that last spot with
Right.
Arizona, Miami, San Francisco, and Cincinnati.
Not sure if the tiebreaker will come into effect because of that 3-game gap. They'll have to close it in the month.
Yeah, but I mean, to win the season series is huge.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. They've kind of they've had a tough time with the rest of the division, specifically Milwaukee.
Yeah, definitely
Really dominates them.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. It was 10-3 on the year.
Yeah, so I mean it's going to be interesting to watch how the NL Central plays out, and specifically the NL Wild Card because of it.
Yeah, I don't know if the Reds. There's just some teams. I don't know who's gonna. Because one of them's got to get in, and
It's packed, man.
who's gonna pull away?
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
We're going to finish off the big series with an interleague series that we thought was another prove-it series for these Arizona Diamondbacks. Baltimore will be visiting the Diamondbacks for a 3-game here on the weekend before finally Arizona gets a break. They get a home series against lowly Colorado after that.
Yeah, you'd think it's a break, but like I said last time with the division rival, you never know how they match up.
Yeah, Arizona's been playing some really tough teams, though, so I think they'll take it.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely less of a stress.
Either before or during this series, Baltimore got Jorge Lopez off of waivers
I
from
saw
Minnesota.
that, I saw that. He's back.
Yeah, he is back. Did Arizona step up in this series? Nah, kind of. I don't know. It's tough to say.
Yeah, let's hear what happened.
They played a really clean baseball game on Friday. This was a 4-2 Arizona win. Kind of hard to fault them for anything they did in this game.
Yeah, they give up a run in the first, but immediately answer back with 2.
I was going to say, Baltimore scores early, but not often in this one. They score off Davies in the first with an O'Hearn single, Ryan O'Hearn, that is. Arizona responds with a Lourdes Gurriel 2-run homer.
Right away.
That's his 21st. That's in the bottom of the first.
Dude, that guy has been some pickup for them.
For real, he has. He is good.
I'm not really sure why the Blue Jays let go of him, but it was for... Well, I do know it was for... what's his name? Dalton Varsho.
Right,
but
yeah, they wanted the defense.
Still,
and
though,
yeah.
they gave up Moreno and Gurriel for Varsho. I like Varsho. I think having an outfielder that can also catch is impressive, but...
I don't know if it's worth that.
Yeah, that's a couple studs.
Christian Walker also hits a 2-run homer. That's his 29th of the year.
One of my favorite players in baseball.
That's in the 6th inning, and that'll do it for the game, because now at this point it is 4-1. It's worth mentioning, later on in that game, Ryan O'Hearn also got an RBI double in the 8th, so have a day, Ryan O'Hearn.
I was going to say, when you mentioned his name before, he's been pretty good for Baltimore since showing up.
He was the only offense for Baltimore in this 4-2 loss. Yeah. Pretty wild. Game 2, Baltimore's got to respond, and like good teams do, they do respond.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you would maybe call this guy Bradish their ace.
He's a stud.
He's been really good. He gets his 10th win.
Call him what you want, but you got to call him good.
Yep, for sure. He gets his 10th win.
This is a 7-3 win for Baltimore. They put up a 6th spot on a young Slade Ciccone. We were talking about Slade Ciccone on Friday's episode and giving him props. He's been really good since his call-up just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, he was going well until that 4th inning.
Yeah,
he just got hit.
He ended up giving up 9 hits in this game. Pretty rough, and that puts him at a 4.44 on the year now. Really ballooned him.
Yeah, definitely. What was he at, a 2-something before? And then it'll happen.
This is a statement game for Baltimore. The bats stepped up, and like I said, or like you said, Kyle Bradish just looked good again. 6 innings pitched, 4 hits given up. He gets 6 Ks. Only 2 earned runs in that one, so another QS for him. He's 10-6 on the year with a 3.03 ERA.
He's really breaking out for them.
Those are just good numbers for a pitcher.
That's what a team like Baltimore needs. They need young guys like Kyle Bradish and Tyler Wells. They need those guys to step up and just continue to shove like they have. I mean, they're still a first-place team with a month left, not even.
Yeah, and the last game of this series ends up being a rubber game. I mean, can Arizona take this game? It is the Zach Gallen game. Their ace is on the mound.
He didn't pitch well again.
Unfortunately, no, they cannot take this game. They lose 8-5 in the rubber game to lose 2 out of 3 to Baltimore. That's kind of what's been happening to Arizona when they play the good teams. They just kind of drop them at the end here. Baltimore came out swinging early versus Gallen. They put up back-to-back 2 spots. That's an O'Hearn 2 RBI single.
Again.
Fingerprints all over the series, and Gunnar Henderson gets a 2 RBI single in the second. So, I mean...
These last 2 starts for Gallen have probably, against the Dodgers and Orioles, have probably taken him out of the Cy Young
Probably give
candidacy.
that award to Snell, huh?
Or Strider. I mean, it's going to be one of those 2, probably.
Arizona came back to tie that at 4 on a wild pitch, of all things, which is crazy. But Baltimore ends up putting up a 4 spot in the 6th. I mean, that's it, basically. That's it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was...
Christian Walker hits his 30th homer of the year to make it 8-5, and that'll do it, folks.
Dude, he has 30 homers again, and he just plays probably
some of the best
defensive first baseman in
Definitely
baseball.
Hard to argue.
So, I mean, they got a stud in Christian Walker.
Another good series for Baltimore, who just continues to play good ball, one of the hottest teams in baseball. 7-3 in their last 10. Their run differential's now up over 100. Pretty crazy stuff from Baltimore this year.
The second best team in baseball in terms of record now after that Braves-Dodgers series.
Yeah, pretty wild.
The O's have more wins than the Dodgers now. That's crazy.
Baltimore takes 2 out of 3 against Arizona, a team that needs it. And why do they need it? Because now there is a 3-team tie.
Like we just mentioned.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it here. Arizona, Miami, and San Francisco.
And Cincinnati, 4 teams.
Oh, yeah, Cincinnati. I don't know why they have them outside on a line there.
Yeah, I don't know why that's like that.
Yeah, but either way, there is a 4-team tie. We already talked about Cincinnati's got Seattle coming up. As we said, Miami's got L.A. at home.
Oof.
Arizona gets Colorado at home. And San Francisco's in a huge series at Chicago. They're going to the Cubs and Wrigley. Wrigley is, and the Cubs are 3 games up on all these teams, so...
A lot of big series.
A 3-game set for San Francisco where a sweep gets them that tie against the Cubs.
Yeah,
it's time to step up.
But it could also go the other way and they could get buried.
Most definitely. That's going to be a huge series between San Francisco and the Cubs on the weekend, or on the beginning of the week here.
They got to head to the friendly confines.
Baltimore and Arizona was a fun series, but alas, I mean, it ended how we thought it would. Baltimore stepped up after losing that first game, and they put their foot down.
Yeah, I mean, they woke up after the first game.
And with Tampa losing 2 out of 3, that gives another game lead for Baltimore there.
Yeah, what are they sitting at now, 2.5? And then, I mean, Tampa Bay is comfortably the the first wild card at plus 6.5, so Baltimore has, what, a 9-game lead into the playoffs right now?
We'll be watching both those teams play October baseball, most definitely.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Which is awesome, man. I'm happy for Orioles fans that they get to watch their team be this good again.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun, and I like them a lot.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks to everybody who watches, listens, subscribes. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
This was episode 19 of the 9 Frames podcast. This is Monday, September 4th, 2023, Labor Day again. Have a good Labor Day.
Next one is number 20.
It will be.
Wednesday will be number 20.
Hope you guys have a good Labor Day. Enjoy the day off if you've got it. And watch some baseball.
Drink. Have a drink for us and watch some baseball.
Most definitely. You can catch us on YouTube at 9 Frames Podcast. We're on Spotify at 9 Frames. Our X is at 9 Frames Pod, and we are on playergm.com. Like we said in the intro, please press that bell notification if you want to know when a new episode goes live, and it'll ding your phone, you know?
Yeah, we appreciate all the support, as usual.
Enjoy these big games. Enjoy that NL wildcard race.